Welcome back. Watchman contributor Avi Melamed joined us recently on Israel's Gaza border to lay out the threat posed by Hamas and its network of terror tunnels. But Hamas isn't the only bad actor operating in Gaza. From Iranian proxies to ISIS, this tiny coastal strip is jam-packed with some of the world's most notorious terrorist organizations. Take a look. Avi, we've seen an uptick in recent weeks in rockets coming out of Gaza into Israel. Palestinian Islamic Jihad is another player here in Gaza. Iran funded, of course. So they're also kind of stirring things up as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Islamic Jihad in Palestine, IJIP, and particularly in Gaza Strip, is very powerful. He's a very serious competitor to Hamas, sort of speaking. Yeah. Up until now, generally speaking, both organizations, despite of some differences between them, obviously cooperated under the frame of the resistance, obviously massively supported by the Iranians. Just the same, Hamas is aware of the fact that Palestinian Jihad in Palestine, and particularly in Gaza Strip, has a very significant armed power that potentially at some point could become even sort of a challenge to Hamas military superiority in the Gaza Strip. But just the same, Islamic Jihad, in the end of the day, has to be tuned also to the messages coming from Egypt, coming from the Gaza Strip, and coming from different parts of the Arab world.
I wanted to real quick ask you about ISIS. There was recently ISIS in Sinai, which is also a stone's throw from here, recently declared war against Hamas. What does that mean? How does that affect the dynamic here?
ISIS is a substantial challenge as far as Hamas is concerned, both ideologically and to a lesser extent operationally. In the Gaza Strip, and particularly in the southern part of the Gaza Strip, where most of the refugee camps are located, these areas are known to be more hub of the Salafi jihadist ISIS-style affiliated factors in the Gaza Strip. There has been a couple of events in the past where Hamas crashed. Whenever Hamas came to the conclusion, Hamas crushed any attempts of the ISIS-affiliated factors in the Gaza Strip to challenge his sovereignty.
Hamas rules Gaza with an iron fist.
Correct. And recently, what happened due to the fact that ISIS is losing ground in Syria and Iraq on the one hand, but ISIS is not going anywhere because it continues and he wants to show the world that he continues. We just saw recently a couple of the most terrifying attacks conducted by ISIS-affiliated factors in the Sinai Strip, Sinai Peninsula.
Not far from here.
Not so far from here, like half an hour drive and you are there. We know that there is an ongoing cooperation between ISIS militants operating in the northern part of Sinai and ISIS supporters and affiliated people inside Gaza Strip. By the way, some of the ISIS-affiliated factors in Gaza Strip are originally people who used to be either part of Hamas or Islamic Jihad. And they criticized Hamas for Islamic Jihad, arguing, Erick, believe it or not, that Hamas and Islamic Jihad are too veggie.
They're not radical enough.
They're not radical enough.
So they graduated to ISIS.
ISIS does not present a real challenge to Hamas, militarily speaking. On the other hand, Hamas, of course, is all the time tuned to the possibility that ISIS factors or supporters of ISIS inside the Gaza Strip will try to challenge ISIS Hamas rule.
Folks, things are heating up in Gaza as we speak, and we'll be keeping an eye on it for you all year long here at The Watchman. Well, up next, my final thoughts on the battle against terrorism and how you can help fight it. It's The Watchman. It's Christians United for Israel, only right here on TBN. Stick around.